Hi guys, and welcome back to another fly fishing video. You're unlikely to see any water in today's video, and you're highly unlikely to see any fish. Today I've come to the Staffordshire County Showground, where the British Fly Fishing International Fair is going to take place this weekend. I've come a day early so I can show you a little bit behind the scenes before we get into the fair itself. Retailers are busy behind me setting up inside 3 halls. There's going to be fly tying materials, fly tying curios, and there's going to be some of the best fly tyers in the world at this event. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Setup's in full flow now. Most of the retailers are in their various halls. What happens prior to this all week, Steve and Bridget's been working extremely hard, setting up the tables, getting the various retailers into their slots, and they'll spend the remainder of today setting up for the show tomorrow. We're expecting record crowds and it should be a banging show. Hi folks, well the show's started. Here we are on day one, and as I've walked around all the stands, one of the most eye-catching stands at the show this year is Simba Fly Rods, and I'm joined by Simon Barton, a fellow Scot. Nice to meet you, Simon.
Nice to meet you
and
too.
He's going to tell us a little bit about his custom rod business. So Simon, about your background first.
Well, I did actually start making rods years ago when I was but a teenager.
As a hobby sort of thing?
Well, in the pub along the road where I was working on a farm, there was a guy called Malcolm Gray in there who used to come in there, and he made rods. That was Gray's of Annick. So he
Wow.
So he taught me how to make rods, and then I went off to my career of fish farming, which I really enjoyed. What's not to like about delivering trout all around Scotland on a lovely day?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was super. Anyway, after 30 years of that, I then retired and thought, well, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
I like to be busy. And I thought, right, well, a friend said...
So you retired and then you started the business?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you know...
That's amazing.
Kind of how you do, you know. And a chap said to me, if you only did that commercially, making these rods, I would buy one. And that's how I got started. I actually started with the name the Strathern Rod Company, which is where we're based. But a friend of mine...
So a long trip down then?
It was a long trip, 6 hours, yeah, it was. Yeah. But you've got to make the effort if you want people to see you.
It's one of the biggest shows in the country, and it's going to be really busy today.
I hope so, yeah. That's the idea. It got renamed as Simba because a friend of mine came to visit me, who was 100 years old at the time and still driving.
Wow.
He said, "Oh, I love your company, but I don't like the name. It says nothing of you." So right,
you can't please all the people all the time.
But he came up with the name Simba, and I thought, perfect, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's quite easy to remember, you know.
Yeah.
This all developed, and we've got Harris Tweed tubes, and one of my most popular rods is the wee lock rod.
Yeah,
and it's.
I've seen the tube. They look really nice.
Well, thank you. Yeah, they're all. This is Tomonok Tweed, which is where I live, it's a lovely thing. You know, people like they immediately see the tube.
Well, what I think it belies quality, doesn't it? People see it and think, oh, that's a quality item.
That's what I like to think as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the wheel lock rod is very popular. We've got a little one here. That's an 8-foot version, and they go all over the world. There's a clutch of them in Tasmania. They're in America, Canada, Europe, all over the place.
It's fantastic, and you have got a website that people can go and visit.
Very much so. SimbaRods.com.
The other thing that really took my fancy was all the different options of colours, butt stops, the way the rod's finished. You can have a totally bespoke rod.
Completely, and that's what people like. Is they can. I mean, I've done college colours, football colours, birthday presents, happy birthday, darling, all these things.
And when I retire, I'll be handing the mess your card, so I can have one of them rods.
Well, that's what happens.
Thanks very much for taking the time to talk to me.
And thanks for coming
I hope you have a great show.
Oh, I hope so.
Well, I've come over to Barbless Flies to speak to Richard about his fly fish media. It's one of his latest ventures. He's one of the men behind Magnetique, which I've done in the past. And you're going to tell us a little bit about what you've got to show the public today.
I am, yes. Well, today we're releasing our River Fly Anglers Almanac. It's essentially a diary for fly fishing.
Yeah.
And it takes you all the way through the fly fishing year. This one is for rivers.
Yeah.
So it starts in March.
You've got one for rivers.
We've got one for rivers, we've got one for still waters, and one for salmon.
Yeah.
And so this starts in March, takes you through, shows you which flies should be hatching.
And illustrations of the flies.
Illustrations of the flies to use. Good. Gives you spaces to write your catch returns. Takes you all the way through the year each month, including grayling. Gives you tactics to use. Gives you a rough idea. The good thing about it is...
So like a pimped up fishing diary?
Exactly like a pimped up fishing diary. The one thing to do is, though, keep it in your car. Don't put it on your bookshelf. Keep it in your car.
Paperback, and the weather's going to affect it if you take it out.
This is one I did last year.
Yeah.
And in there you can see things like... So for April last year I fished up on the River Derwent up in North Yorkshire.
So the days you went fishing...
So you can list here the days I went fishing. You've got, saying here with the Hawthorne hatch starting on the 27th.
Right.
We've got the Granham hatch on the 24th. So we can actually go through that, and then that will now inform what I do this year. Because I know if I'm going fishing that week.
Do you find, I find of late in recent years, I've found that the hatches are coming earlier and earlier as the winters get milder and milder.
Yes. And we're also finding as well, because up near where we are in North Yorkshire, we get the Mayfly around about the end of May. Last year we got it first week of June. So this now I can look at this and say, well, actually I know that if I'm going first week of June, Mayfly are going to be coming out. Now it's different in the south because so we can't write something to say, oh yeah, Mayfly is going to be first week of June, because in the south it's probably second week of May.
It's a great idea. I know that certainly a lot of the older guys, older than me, which is quite old, used to keep fishing diaries, and they would refer back to them and say, in March that worked a treat, and maybe you're going to have a revival of that sort of thing.
That's the plan. That is the plan. Is that we bring one of these out every year. You can then look back on it, and then you can actually look at exactly where you fished, what tactics you used, what flies you used, and see what's successful.
That's fantastic. Well, best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much for talking to me.
Thank you.
I'm joined by Frankie McPhillips. He's an Irish fly tyer of some renown, and this is his first year at the BFFI. Frankie, what do you think?
Well, so far so good, Lindsay. It's just opened about an hour and a half, and it's been really good,
Yeah, stream of people coming through now, isn't it?
A lot of people.
It does. Frankie's set up in the second hall, and usually it bottlenecks in the first hall, and then people start streaming through.
Coming through, yes.
Yeah.
Well, so far I've met some regular customers of mine, website customers and things, so looking forward to a good show.
Yeah. You've got some lovely prints here, I noticed earlier. It's what caught my eye, actually.
Yeah.
They're like sort of watercolours combined with
the fly.
Flies
yes.
that you've tied, I believe.
Yes, I tie the fly, Lindsay, and the paintings are done by a watercolour artist from Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
She's called Marjorie Leonard, and we're doing a series of actual fishing flies and scenes from famous lakes in Ireland.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're absolutely beautiful, and and I'm sure the camera's not doing these justice, but they're really well put together and well worth a look. Do you have a website, Frankie?
I have a
that people
website,
can have a look?
Lindsay, yes. It's www.frankiemcphillips.com, so pretty simple to...
Dead easy. Give it a look,
Yep.
see what you think. Thanks very much, Frankie.
Not at all, Lindsay.
I really appreciate it. Well, I'm with fly fishing legend Charles Jardine. It's not only fly tying materials and fly tying trips that are on show here at the BFFI. Charles is going to tell us a little bit about fishing for schools. Charles, over
there
to
it
you.
is. It's up there, Lindsay, right there.
I've seen that.
And we've got
They've got it in frame and everything.
We've got a new one as well. So, yeah, fishing for schools started about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And since that time, it's grown. Just ironically, this gentleman over here, camera, that one, he was at the first school we ever started, which was about 15 years ago in Tewkesbury.
Yeah.
And that's what this...
So it's been going for 16 years now?
Yeah.
Well, it's a long time.
It is, and it's grown from that one, and we topped out this year at 36 schools, and that's all we can afford because it's free.
So I've got to ask you, is there anyone from them first few years that have come back to you and said, you know what, that's the best thing that's ever happened?
Well, we've got, I'll tell you interestingly, when anyone says interestingly, you know it's not going to be. But we had one young lad who couldn't read, write, do anything like that. He's going for his level 1 and level 2 casting his awards.
Angling Trust
Awards. Yeah. And another one who's come from pretty parlous circumstances, really, really difficult world.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Dartford, Gravesend, not exactly a hub of beauty and wonder.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you come from Dartford and Gravesend, I don't mean anything horrid, but it's not a rural...
I know what you mean. I grew up in quite a rough area myself, so I know.
what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But they've come through and, again, didn't stand a blooming chance and now gone on to further education at an agricultural college.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
That's what we do.
Yeah, and making a difference to young people's lives. I mean, there's nothing better. I mean, I'm trying to encourage people into fly fishing, you're trying to encourage people into life.
Just like, well, it's more than that. It's sometimes survival. It's as stark as that, Lindsay, because I was just about to go on and talk about fishing for schools, and I had a phone call from a school, and one of the young people said, if it wasn't for that thing up there, I would have been in a gang by now.
Yeah.
Now,
so that's amazing, isn't
now,
it?
essentially, would have been lost to society.
Yeah.
So I like to think we're doing something good.
I think it's a fantastic thing, Charles, and I wish you all the very best. Thanks for taking
Good
the
luck
time
at
to
the
talk.
show.
I'm with Stuart Wardle of the Durham Fly Fishing Company. I've used his services in the past. He's a professional guide based in the northeast of England. And what are you doing here today, Stuart? I see you've got a lot of tackle. Are you starting to sell tackle now?
Over the years, I've built up quite a substantial stash.
You're a hoarder.
Yeah, and a bit of a reel fiend, tackle stash.
Yeah.
So it's about time to let a few go.
Okay.
So I brought a few along, loads of variations of it, but more of these come down to fly fair because here getting to bump into everybody we haven't seen for 2 years, and a great way for old clients and new clients to come and say hello.
I've been filming all morning. It's been extremely difficult to walk 5 yards without bumping into somebody and chatting away, and you can while away the hours exchanging fishing stories with folks.
But do you not think as well that it's quite a small world, the fly fishing world? Everybody sort of knows
seems to know everybody.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I'm thankful I'm not in the trade, but because I see how busy you guys have been, and certainly I watched JT setting up his stall yesterday. It was about 8 hours, and it was freezing in here yesterday. So I wasn't envious of that. At least I could go to the car and have a little warm up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, you're selling some reels today.
Yeah, I've got some reels.
Anything special that I might be interested in?
Well, the one and only, as you know, the one and only best floatant ever invented, Roman's umbilical float. And Roman stopped actually making this for the future, so I've had to buy a lot of stock to keep going.
Right.
This is always popular.
Is that what you use?
Fantastic on CDCs. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. If anybody's interested, check it out on my website. You'll find it. Miracle Float.
No worries. So you've got a website where people can get in touch, book guiding days. Most of the guides I've spoken to this year have been absolutely booked out. Are you the same, are you?
Yeah, this is my 12th year as a full-time professional guide.
Yeah.
Lockdown, as soon as lockdown stepped in, it fell off the edge of a cliff. When fishing opened up in the July, it went crazy, and it's been like that ever since.
And I'm hearing the same thing. from nearly everybody I've spoken to. People are just desperate to get out fishing.
I've actually started to realise the benefits of what's on their own doorsteps, the nature there, and they want to be part of that.
Absolutely, and what better way? I mean, sometimes I can just wander up the banks with a camera and I'm a happy chap, you know.
Yeah,
but Stuart, thanks for taking the time to speak to me.
Absolute pleasure.
I really
we'll see you out for another day.
Yeah, absolutely. I must get back up. Well, I've come to the Grayling Society stand, and this is Rob, who's nice to meet you, and Lindsay. And Rob's going to explain a little bit about the Grayling Society. It's one of my favourite fish to catch, and I think it's a really worthy cause. So let's hear all about it, Rob.
Okay, approximately 1,000 members. Originally started to protect the grayling when it was being thrown up the bank.
Yeah.
Those days wonderfully are behind us now. What we concentrate now is trying to protect the environment the lady lives in. Yeah. So we spend a lot of our time and effort working on conservation, trying to keep the rivers clean. You might be aware our president is Fergal Sharkey, who's an absolute zealot about making sure
I've seen a lot of his campaigns about the river.
He's a phenomenal
And he lobbies government as well,
all the time, all the time. And he's been a great asset to society. So it's 1,000 people who care desperately about the environment the lady lives in.
Yeah. So is it countrywide? Is it a countrywide thing?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, as you know, there's no grayling in Ireland, but other than that, the whole of the British Isles.
A lot of my friends are from Ireland, and they come over to the Welsh Dee and they come over to fish specifically for grayling. I think they're one of the best game species out there, personally.
Oh, well, the wonderful thing as well, they've got one of the smallest livers of any of the fish. So if the grayling are in your river, you know your river is reasonably good.
Yeah, good.
You have a problem with your river, the grayling are gone.
Yeah, absolutely. So if people were interested in joining the Grayling Society, can they go to a website?
Absolutely, grainsociety.net.
Rob, I'm interested in joining the Grayling Society. How would I go about it?
Well, you could join today, obviously.
And I will join today.
Good man. Or grainsociety.net. But the thing about the Grayling Society, if you do join, you get free journals. We organise Simpo fishing weekends, fishing days. But the main thing is you know that you're helping to protect the lady of the stream.
Yeah, and that's key. And a lot of my friends are already in the Grayling Society, and they've said the organised days are really good.
They are. Yeah. I've got to be, and to be honest, what we've missed the last 2 years is this kind of thing, getting back with a bunch of old friends, which is what it's like. You know?
It's been really difficult to film, actually, because, you know, every sort you walk 10 yards, you meet someone it's like you've not seen for years, and you end up chatting away.
Welcome to the Grayling Society.
Thanks, Rob. So I'm here with Melvyn Wood, and he very kindly tied a fly for me the last time I did a video at the BFFI, and he's just setting up ready for the hordes amassing in the tyres hall. So Melvyn, tell me a little bit about your vice.
Well, I bought it 13 years ago now. I bought it for me 50th birthday, and I just love it. I would never, it was quite expensive at the time, not as expensive as they are now. As we know, prices have gone up since Lawrence decided not to give up making them. But yeah, it's a quality vice, hand-built. Lovely heavy base, rock steady.
Yeah. Is that your favourite feature, Mel, is it?
No, I don't think the favourite feature is. I think the favourite feature is it can be rotary. I'll put it together. It can be rotary. Or you can have it at any angle. I'm saying hard. They are hard.
So if I want to get one of these, other than murdering you, Mel, what am I looking at price-wise?
Oh, yeah, at least £1.5.
Yeah, so I need to trade in a car or sell a kidney, is that what you're telling me?
That's basically it, yes. Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Well, day 2 and quite a lot of filming done. I've put 10 years onto my life. My hair's greyer than it was when I started, but it's been really enjoyable. If you're enjoying what I'm doing, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. I would really appreciate it. John, well, it's nice to see you here again at the BFFI with Fish On Products. I hope you're having a great show. But I've come to talk to you about the on-tour events. I noticed you'd done some last year, and I just wondered if you could let the viewers know what the tour's all about.
The concept of on tour is that we go around the country, we do different venues. They're all currently river venues.
Yeah.
They get advertised on our website and Facebook and social media,
yep.
Have you? Limited numbers, and we take groups of anglers all over the country fishing for trout and grayling in a sort of relaxed, friendly atmosphere.
Yeah, instructional
stuff, yeah. We get all sorts of people from complete beginners to pretty good anglers, and myself and Andy do the instruction.
Yeah.
Focusing on the social side as well. We go away for a weekend, there'll be a few beers and perhaps a curry involved.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, I think as people, well, certainly from my perspective, as I get older, it's not so much about the fishing, it's about who you're spending your time with.
Yeah, it's not so much about the catching. The on-tour concept is about learning.
Yes.
And everybody's got capacity to learn, even you and I. So everybody's got their own level, current level, and Andy and I just try to take them one notch up. And
I think what you do is, well, I used you as a guide when I was trying to improve my own fishing, and I think if you want to improve fast, one of the best ways of doing it is hiring someone that's really good. Well, I won't say the word expert, because as you say, we've all got capacity to get better.
So what I would say is, I've been international rivers champion, Andy's been international rivers champion. There's an awful lot of knowledge there.
Yeah, it's a wealth of experience to tap into.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're doing one of the on-tour events, well, what about this scenario? What about that scenario?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people just enjoy hearing the stories, don't they?
Yeah. No, we have people who've been on one and never come back, and we have people who've been on every single one we've done over the last 4 years.
That's fantastic.
About 4 or 5 a year. If anyone's interested, all I would say is check the website. We've got a sign-up sheet that we can be. If you're on our newsletter sign-up sheet, you get all the newsletters. We don't spam people. We do maybe one a month. And then social media. So follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You'll find out where they are.
Fantastic. Well, thanks very much for taking the time to talk to me, John.
No problem, mate. Good to see you again.
I hope you have a good second day.
Yeah, we had a great first day.
Yeah.
So, good morning, sir. I'm very pleased to present here my company. I'm Mr. Kopter Flies, come from Italy. And now I will present you our excellencies. So, this is our scissors, stainless steel, ergonomic shape to have the best fly tying sensation. One blade is micro serrated, and we have our ring lock system that go in substitution of the conventional screw. Is made by 2 stainless steel rivet. In the middle we squeeze a cylinder of Teflon, so when you go to cut, the cutting force is discharged on the Teflon, and it gives to you a smooth sensation for the cutting action, and it also preserves the life of the edges. So this model comes with slightly curved blade, come with the straight blade, and come with the longer blade, little bit longer blade, and also come with hard Teflon coating that is not stick to any glue and resin, does not attach any Loctite or super glue attack. Is very easy to clean if a drop falls on your scissor. Other product I'm very proud to present is the needle. That is a unique piece of stainless steel, very, very powerful, with a conic shape here that allow you, for example, to form the gut on salmon flies for some sizes here. You can choose the diameter of your gut, and also is very useful to make hole in foam when some dressing require it, and it's very cool also the hexagonal section that prevent the rolling and falling from the table, you know? What we have here is another very nice innovation, is the rotating magnetic base holding tool. You can hold your tool there. It's double layer. And you can adjust the tension to have free or tight. And you can also attach at the wall, because it comes with a dedicated bar with a screw, and you can attach to the wall of your tying rooms. Okay. Now I'm going to present the new models that are just being produced in our factory. And this is the Ibis curve, is very, very fine point, micro serrated on one blade. We have not the ring lock system that I presented before, but the conventional screw is a little bit cheaper, but the quality of our cutting action is maintained for sure. And this is another pair, huge. I name it the big game because those feathers are suited to prepare section, to cut big foam, to work with GPS, to work with hard material to cut as thin cells, to do all those jobs that normally you don't want to do with the fine blades. Okay? So I'm sure that with our product you will be satisfied. We have a big range of product. Here we have our tweezers. This is the the flat slant point is very useful to grab that food that you don't want on your flies, or to squeeze steam off the feathers, stuff like that. And this is to adjust little things on your flies. It's very, very pointy and is useful to pick up material from the table if you are tying a hand or something like that. I hope that what we are doing here is to provide a wide range of scissors with technical characteristics. So I think that our Kopter flies for quality fly tying tools will satisfy the exigence of the picky fly tyer, you know. Thank you so much for your attendance.
Thanks very much, Piero. Of course, there's lots of other things you can do at the BFFI. I've got some scissors that I'm very fond of, so I've come to Simon, who sharpens scissors. Hi, Simon. Nice
Morning,
to meet you.
Lindsay.
I'm
nice
Lindsay.
to see
How
you.
Are you?
What's up with these then?
Well, they're just getting a little bit dull, and I was wondering if you could sharpen them for me. How much does it cost for a sharpen?
It's £10 a pair for them.
That sounds like a bargain.
They should come back like new.
Fantastic.
Let's have a look, see what's wrong with them first. Now that's they're not cutting,
and I think that's because I use nano silk quite a bit, and the nano silk does blunt the scissors quite quickly.
Okay, little blue pot so I don't lose the bits, and we take it apart. Screw comes off. These are corroded as well on the pin.
Ah, right. I have had them a long time, Simon.
That's all right. We'll address that as well. And all I do is, I don't know if you can see in the camera there are shims.
Or like little,
you've got little
rubber
shims.
grommets sort of things.
Well, they are actually shims, and they're vital.
Right.
So I put the screw on
to make
they're
sure
now
you don't
captive.
lose any.
I don't lose them.
Yeah.
The other thing we do is check the angle. Now these are convex, so 35 degrees is a midway point between the 50 and 25 that the convex is an amalgamation of. But I check each angle by using my version of Engineer's Blue, which is a felt tip pen, because all I need to do is to be able to take the ink off to see the angle, and I'll do that for you so you can see how getting the right angle. And I go to 35 for convex as a starting point, and then if I need to, I can go 5 degrees either side to put the curvature back on. But it's actually only the final angle that is doing the cutting. There we are. That's clamped in, and I don't know if you can see on here the angle is marked for the degrees of the edge. But provided it's the same, it doesn't matter what the number says. I then put that on and make sure it's parallel to the wheel. I have a mark on the wheel. It's only a felt tip mark, but I have a mark on the wheel. Check where the tip is touching the wheel, and check where the heel is touching the wheel. They're near enough the same, so I know that that isn't sitting at the wheel at an angle like this. It's actually properly parallel. Otherwise the angle changes as you go across the wheel. And just turn it by hand, and then looking through the magnifying glass I can see where I've just brushed the ink off, and that gives me the angle. From experience, I know the 35 degrees works really well on these. Put them on the diamond wheel, just pass it across ever so lightly. I don't know where the light is on there, but I hope you can see that I've just taken that off.
So is that taking the main burrs out, is it?
It's actually cut a new edge.
Ah, right. Ah.
And the burr is this side.
Got you. There's a lot more to it than you would think.
So now, move that out of the way. Get that out of the way. Number one, first is a 5000 grit paper. Put this on at about 3 degrees for these. It's a bit like how big a feather do you use on a hook. It comes with experience, and it's actually I feel it through here, and you know whether it's meeting the right curvature or not. and then I just take the burr off, just dragging backwards each time. It looks like I'm going to and fro. I'm actually lifting it just off and putting it back down again, and just dragging the one way. This is just initially, and that will hone the inside edge, because the blade is actually spoon shaped, and it's only the very periphery that is actually, the blades are actually touching. The middle is hollow. So where I'm polishing is only polishing right round the very edge, and you can see the running surface on it. That's the first one. The second one, this is 7,000 grit. You can see I've just put a new one in because I wore it out yesterday, doing so many. Now I've taken the burr off.
How many did you do? Do you keep count, Simon?
I didn't, but I must have done 60 pairs yesterday.
Wow. That's excellent.
Mostly for the pro tyres.
Yeah.
Paul Slaney and one of the others brought me brand new scissors, still in their packet. Please sharpen them.
Wow.
New scissors, not opened,
yeah,
because they know that what I'm doing will bring them sharper again.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you can do this. You might need to come around here and look through the lens so you can see the difference between the one I've polished and the one I haven't, because we've got to get the light on it. I don't know if you can see this one. The factory, you've only got the heel done, but there's nothing up the inside.
Yeah.
And if you can see mine, you can see where it's gone bright around the edge.
It's all shiny. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but I can certainly see the difference from that bit of work you've done there.
And that is purely the hone to take the burr that I cut from where I cut the new edge on.
Yeah.
And from there, can you see the new edge that's been cut on?
Yeah. It looks very sharp.
Well, now we'll do the other one. In fact, I won't. Because I'm talking, I've forgotten where I was. I've got to now polish it. So I put it back in the jig. Now the jig is still at the same angle that blade was cut at.
Right.
So I know it's the same.
So it'll polish it at the angle.
It's not quite so critical, because this is a soft wheel and it can mould itself a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's just the way I work. So then this side is a fine soft polishing wheel to take the final edge, and with that, I don't know if you can see, you might be able to see the bit of trash. Let's put something white behind it, and you can see that's the polishing compound on the edge, which I clean off before it goes too hard. It comes off when it's hard, it's just easier to take off when it's soft.
I used to be a master tailor when I was in the army, so I can really appreciate the functionality and the essentialness of good scissors, you know. And I think it's exactly the same with fly tying.
Well,
you've got to have precise cutting.
Well, I'd ask your viewers, you know, when they're tying, the frustration it causes if they go to cut and it doesn't cut.
It doesn't cut
compared
straight.
to and a clean cut straight away. It just makes life that much easier, and purely for exactly the same again. And I check with the thing, just that also tells me that I've gone straight, because again, when you work with your hands a lot, you do get sometimes on a shorter blade, it's easy to put them in square straight off.
Yeah.
Longer blades, then you do really need to check, because of course the amount of deflection is magnified.
Yeah.
On a short blade, it hardly makes any difference, and it's just experience. So now that's ready, and I shall just quickly go across there, and that's cut a new edge on there. Feel for the burr, and I can feel the burr all the way along. And because these are diamonds, they cut, they do not grind. Do not use a grinding wheel.
Yeah. And I think probably a lot of people have tried that.
I had 2 pairs yesterday where the chap had brought them in, very nice. The same design scissor, razor, but the silver and gold ones, like these.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got some of them as well.
And he had tried doing it with a drill and a sanding disc, and wondered why he'd rounded them off and they wouldn't cut anything. Purely all I did was just completely re-established a new edge.
Yeah.
And went as if they were blanks.
I'm a great believer in getting somebody that knows what they're doing to do things like this.
And then I can polish that. And you can see, hopefully on the camera, you'll see how the actual paper, you can see that isn't the paper being worn down, that's metal being left in the pores of the paper.
Yeah.
Which is why when you use wet and dry, the wet aspect of it, all you're doing is washing out the particles.
Right, got you.
That's what you're actually doing. I think that was about there. And can you see that the edges, you know, the polish all the way around again?
Yeah.
Now those two polished surfaces are where the blades are riding against each other.
Right.
Which is why I can quite honestly say, you bring me a brand new pair of factory scissors,
you can improve
they haven't
them.
got that.
Yeah, you can improve them.
I can improve them.
Yeah.
Whether people think it's economic or not, well, that's up to them.
Well, absolutely. It depends on how serious you're taking your fly tying, I would think.
Fly tying, but when you get up to the likes of hairdresser scissors, then, which isn't what your viewers are interested in, I know, but if I tell you that two of the barbers I look after, their scissors were £1,500 a pair.
Wow. Yeah.
That's when the precision is needed.
I think, Simon, it doesn't matter what you do in life, you will find something that will shock you price-wise and the equipment you require to do it.
Yeah, I actually went over to Jaguar in Germany to train how to service scissors. Right, I'll move that out of the way, get that bit of compound out. I was going to work on this for you. Magic Jollop. It's a scissor lubricant, but it's actually dry. It's a dry lubricant.
Okay. I'm not quite sure how that works.
So yes, it's in a liquid form. Like PTFE, it needs a liquid to carry it, and then the liquid evaporates off.
Ah, right.
So if I do that and that, whoops. Right, that will about, where's the other one gone here? There is a square on the pivot that matches the square of the blade, which I've got. That's the right. Because of the way they're manufactured, there's probably only one way it'll go back.
Yeah.
Although it's got four sides, you haven't got four options, you've got one option.
So it's only a micro measurement, but
it's manufacturing tolerance, and you just to go with it. The higher end scissors, yes, that will be even more precise. And I've got to get the screw back on. There it is.
Well, you know what? I didn't realise how much went into it, Simon. It's been fascinating watching you do it.
The other thing is the balance of the scissor. Most people crank him up. So to check it, hold it 90 degrees and let it fall.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 2 clicks. That's nearly there. I'll go another couple of clicks. Now it won't fall at all.
Yeah.
That was an extra 3 clicks from before, from shutting. So I'm going to come back 1 click.
Yeah.
Halfway is about right.
Right.
Now we cut the burrs off. Remember, it wouldn't cut this at all.
Yeah.
But to start with, I just cut through a couple of times, a little bit at a time, working my way up the blade. And now,
yeah, you get a cut right through.
Now we'll take that single one.
So yeah, here we are at another BFFI. Good to be back. Things have changed for me quite a bit. I've got a new business partner coming on board. in the shape of Adam, who's skulking away here. We're getting bigger, we're getting better, we've leased more waters, the guiding is going really well. So yeah, things are much bigger and better since we last spoke, and hopefully it will get even bigger and better as the year goes on. But we're doing a lot more days, sort of group days, 3 or 4 people at a time. We got all the kit now and everything sort of set up, and the days are running smoothly. We've got a chef, we've got everything kind of sorted. So yeah, if you fancy a group day or know someone who wants a group day, then give us a shout, whether it be pike, grayling, trout, you name it, we'll do it.
Absolute pleasure to be here at the BFFI this year, and although it's been hard work, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. The tyres have been fantastic. Some of the stuff on the retail stands are very, very tempting, and I might address that later on. But at the moment, I'm going to sign off for now. Thanks very much for watching the video, and I hope I've brought a little bit of the show into your lives. You weren't able to attend this year for various reasons, COVID, health reasons, or it was just too far to travel. I hope this video's given you a little insight into the BFFI, and if you're able next year, I hope to see you there. Well, my friends, the video's in the can. Let's go and do some shopping.